Hey everybody, and welcome to our lesson about finding the midpoint and distance in the coordinate plane. Now, earlier in this unit, in lesson 7.3, you learned how to find the distance between 2 points on a number line. Alright, we're going to extend that and now learn about how to find the distance between 2 points on a coordinate plane. Alright, to do so, we're going to use what's called the distance formula, and that's down here in this box, and it's going to be important for you to highlight this particular formula. Okay, so if we're given 2 points, and we'll call those points x1, y1 and x2, y2, the distance formula works as follows. So it's going to be the distance is equal to the square root of the difference in the x's squared plus the difference in the y's squared. Now you may or may not be familiar with the Pythagorean theorem, but the Pythagorean theorem is where this distance formula originates. If I'm trying to find the distance between these 2 points A and B, I can create a right triangle, right? And the lengths of those sides would be x2 minus x1 and y2 minus y1. So the Pythagorean theorem is the result, the distance formula is the result of using the Pythagorean theorem to find the distance between points A and B. Now you might also remember that in Unit 7.3 we talked about the midpoint formula. If given those same 2 points, x1, y1 and x2, y2, our midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and then y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That will give me the coordinates of the midpoint. Alright, let's try some questions. Okay, on page 26 in your packet, we can find these 2 questions. We're asked to find the midpoint given the 2 endpoints of the segment. So, here's my x1, y1, x2, and y2. If I add my x's together, that's 14 plus 6 over 2, and I add my y's together, that's 12 plus 8 over 2. When I simplify, I get 20 over 2 and 20 over 2. So the result is me having an endpoint, or excuse me, a midpoint of 10, 10. Alright, now it's your turn. You try question number 2, reviewing how to find midpoint of 2 ordered pairs. Okay, time to check your work. You should have done 10 plus negative 4 divided by 2, and negative 3 plus negative 8 divided by 2. When simplifying, 10 plus negative 4 is 6. This is 6 over 2. And this is negative 11 over 2. So your final answer should have been the ordered pair 3, negative 5.5. Alright, time to move on to some distance formula. Okay, we're going to find the distance between these 2 points. Remember that our distance formula, I'll write it at the top of the screen here, our distance formula is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, make sure you write that down on the top of your paper too. The more you write that formula, the easier it will be to remember it. Okay, let's use our points here. Start to plug in and find out what our distance is. Alright, so it's going to be the square root of 11 minus 3 squared plus 20 minus 5 squared. This is now equal to the square root of 8 squared plus 15 squared, which is the square root of 64 plus 225 All right, now you got to do a little bit of calculating here. We've got to do 64 plus 225, and that'll get us the square root of 289. Now, if you know your perfect squares, we'll be all set. If not, now we have to use the square root function on your calculator. So you'll do the square root of 289, and we get 17. All right, now it's your turn. Find the distance between the points negative 12, 19 and 17, negative 3. All right, time to check your answer. Should have had, all right, the square root, not a very straight line there, the square root of 17 minus negative 12 squared plus negative 3 minus 19 squared. Okay, that's the square root of 29 squared plus negative 22 squared. Okay, I'm going to have to use some calculator now. All right, 29 squared is 841. And negative 22 squared is 484. Remember that any negative number squared becomes positive here. Okay, that's a common mistake. Let's keep chugging along. We've got to do now 841 plus 484. We get the square root of 1,325. Go ahead and take the square root there, and we get, we'll say it's about 36.4. All right, folks, there's it is. You've got the distance formula, and you know how to find the midpoint of 2 points on the coordinate plane. Your next steps are to complete pages 26 through 28 in your packet, and then you're going to go ahead and take that Math Excel quiz over section 7.5. Hope you learned a lot. That's all for now.